Assalamu alaikum, dear friends. Once again, I'm Imtiaz Gul with another edition of the Think Tank Talk. The Think Tank Talk today will focus on Pakistan's public financial sector. Is it in step with the demands of the present day? Is it really a facilitator or an obstructor in the way of investment, in the way of more revenue collection? Now, to discuss this basic issue, we have with us Professor Dr. Ashfaq Hassan Khan. He is the principal at the National University of Science and Technology. He's been an insider of the Ministry of Finance with his nearly a decade of experience at the ministry itself. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, for sparing this time for us. Our objective is to flesh out some basic issues that basically afflict Pakistan's economy. And one of the issues, the major issues, basically revolves around Pakistan's revenues, the financial sector, the Ministry of Finance, how it works. So the basic question, as I said in my introduction, is whether the Ministry of Finance and its aligned institutions such as the Federal Board of Revenue, the Customs, are aligned with the demands, extremely perilous demands or extremely pressing demands in a perilous economic situation.
Yes, this is a very good question. Every country would like to attract foreign investment because those investments are known as non-debt creating investment. You bring dollar in, but they are not debt, rather they are investments. So every country would like to attract more and more foreign investment in the country. But this policy is self-defeating when a country goes to the IMF. We assume that it is the government of Pakistan who is preparing the policies. And as I stated, every country would like to prepare a policy that would attract foreign investment. But when a country goes to the IMF for balance of payment support, a bailout program, they don't prepare policy. The policy is prepared somewhere else. And they are simply, the Ministry of Finance or the government of Pakistan is simply the implementer of the policy. Now, foreign investors doesn't like surprises, because when they bring their dollar here for investment purpose, they need some continuity and consistency in policies. But that continuity and consistency cannot be ensured when a country is under the IMF program.
Yeah, but that is a consequence of Pakistan's or that country's own failings in revenue collection, revenue enhancement. So this is what we want to explore as to what is the role of the Federal Board of Revenue in precisely this issue.
The Board of Revenue simply collects whatever the target it has been given by the government of Pakistan, means Ministry of Finance. And who gave the target to Ministry of Finance? The IMF. IMF is least bothered whether this is going to affect your foreign inflows of foreign investment or it will discourage foreign investment in the country. They simply want that this much amount of revenue you have to collect because this is your expenditure plan. This is the budget deficit target that you have to meet. This is your expenditure. Therefore, in order to meet this target, budget deficit target, you have to have this much amount of revenue. So the revenue is a residual in this case. Revenue is always treated in Pakistan as a residual because the budget deficit target is already given to the Ministry of Finance by the IMF. We know what will be the current expenditure. We know what will be the debt servicing. We know what will be the defense expenditure. We know already what will be the salary of the government servant and so on. So bulk of our current expenditure is also known to the Ministry of Finance. What is unknown is your public sector development program, which again depends on the political condition in the country and availability of resources. But every government would like to enhance the size of the public sector development program. Therefore, your expenditure is far more than your revenue. Either you cut down your expenditure or you mobilize more revenue. If we say that our expenditure is difficult to brought down, then the IMF will tell you, please raise your revenue. So the revenue target is given by the IMF. They are least bothered whether this is going to affect your foreign investors or not.
No, but we certainly can't shift the entire blame onto the IMF, because what happens when the country is not under an IMF program? Because we don't have enough revenues. We are not broadening the tax base. And that is because of the FBR or the extractive policies that this country has been pursuing.
Very good question. Between 2004 and 2008, we were not under the IMF program. We were setting our own revenue target. And that is the period 2006-2007, when we attracted $8.5 billion foreign investment, which was equivalent to the 6% of GDP at that time.
Was it real investment or
Yes.
just?
It was real investment. The entire telecom sector grew up. The new banks entered into Pakistan. Many things happened during that time. This is all well documented in the economic survey. So, we were not under the IMF program. We were preparing our own policies. We were giving the target to FBR. And so we were working hand in gloves, Ministry of Finance and FBR together. Today, when we are in the IMF program, we don't have luxury to set our own revenue target. So that is the issue. I would not blame squarely to FBR, because FBR is forced to raise taxes.
Yeah, but they can also simplify the tax collection and then broaden the base of taxpayers.
Exactly. Very good question. And I think this will be very good for your listener also. We all say that we should broaden the tax base. Bring more people who have not been under tax debt, bring them here. How much you can bring every year? Maybe 250 billion, 300 billion additional resources you can collect by broadening taxes. IMF will simply say, enhance your central bank, please enhance your discount rate by 1%. Only 1% increase in discount rate or policy rate of the state bank will add in our budget, in our expenditure by 250 billion. The ongoing fiscal year, we started with 17%, we are now in 21%. We added 4%, 1,000 billion additional expenditure has gone up. Can any country or any government raise additional taxes by 1,000 billion? It is simply impossible.
So then why is Pakistan being pressed for this? Is it being done by design, just to...
Because as a nation, we have realized that we cannot live without the IMF. We need Deng Xiaoping, another Deng Xiaoping for Pakistan. Because in 1980, Chinese were in a similar situation that we cannot just develop. We are bound to remain as a poor country. But Deng Xiaoping was a reformer. And he said, no, this is not our fate. He worked hard. So when China started growing up, one American journalist came and interviewed Deng Xiaoping and asked, what was the most difficult challenge that you faced in this turning China from a poor developing country to a now growing economies? He said, the changing the mindset of the Chinese people was the toughest job for me, because our people realize that they will never grow up. People in Pakistan and those who matter in this country, they have realized that they cannot live without the IMF.
Is it the people or those who are just that 1% elite of this country?
Of course, they are the 1%, but they have the power. They know exactly. I've been trying for the last so many years that please learn to live without IMF.
So how can we live without IMF?
Exactly the same thing. You are in the same mindset. How can we live? Have we ever tried?
No, but when there is no investment coming in the country.
Investment will not come automatically. You have to create an environment first.
So that's what I'm trying to pin down. Where if there is no ease of doing business, if the first obstruction is the finance mechanism, the taxation regime, which
not only taxation regime,
which is discouraging
the
foreign investor from coming here for a 10-year long investment plan.
It is not only the taxation regime, it is our monetary policy also. If you keep on devaluing your currency, you see, through one policy instrument, devaluation, we create inflation. So we created inflation. And then through another policy, we are saying that we will bring down inflation. So raise interest rate. On the one hand, we are creating inflation problem, and then on the other hand, we are trying to solve the problem through raising interest rate. Both these policies, declining exchange rate and rising cost of borrowing, are poisonous for foreign investors. FBR is simply forced to generate revenue.
So how do we extricate this country?
Get out from the IMF. Get out. I have not seen in any quarter in Pakistan, any quarter, where there is a desire that, yes, sit down, come up with an alternative to us. Imagine that for the last 7 months we are out of the IMF program. Has Pakistan defaulted? Is Pakistanis are living or not?
But your recipe seems to be like shifting the blame entirely, externalizing Pakistan.
Because I can understand that. Because
But don't you think the problem lies here in Pakistan? The people, the mindset.
Mindset is also a problem. Yes, mindset is that no. As you said already, what is the alternative? How can we live without IMF? This is the mindset.
I'm just asking, what is the alternative? How can we extricate ourselves from the clutches of the
task force which have been set up by the government of Pakistan or any other quarter?
Governments did that, but they failed.
No.
Who failed?
No. To the best of my knowledge, I have been part of many economic advisory group or economic advisory council. Not a single government gave us the task to come up a solution for this country in which we are not under the IMF program. I'm simply saying to the people, during 2004 to 2008, we were not under the IMF program. Pakistan flourished during that period. For the last 7 months, in this difficult and challenging time, we are not under the IMF program, and we are surviving. We can survive 5-6 months more without the IMF program. So, when we can survive today with all these challenges, and when there is no policy making there, how to get out of the IMF, and still we are surviving, we can do that. So then we need a special will from the leadership.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very interesting point. Dr. Ashfaq Hassan Khan basically says we shall have to rely on our own internal resilience. The mindset of those who have been ruling this country shall have to change if we were to change the fate, the destiny of this country and increase our revenues. We shall have to go independent of the International Monetary Fund, and that perhaps could pave the way or open the way for better revenue collection, for better performance of Pakistani institutions. Thank you very much.